We are speaking about a very vulnerable population where there's a lot of trauma that goes on.
Sarah Morley LaCroix of the Kalamazoo Anti-Human Trafficking Coalition works with victims of human trafficking, which involves the illegal movement of people for forced labor or sexual exploitation. She says,
And people can't function after one rape, so think about maybe 10 to 15 times a day for maybe 365 days a year that they've been.
Just last year, Michigan had the 8th highest report of cases to the National Human Trafficking Resource Center hotline. It received over 700 calls from Michigan and reported 152 cases of trafficking.
It's been certainly very shocking for us to.
Although there's not a ton of accurate and reliable data due to the underground nature of the crime, high-profile cases involving prostitution have shed light on the issue of human trafficking in Michigan, like the recent case involving the Ingham County prosecutor.
The prosecutor in the capital city of Michigan has a responsibility to enforce the law, report crimes, fight crimes, but he did just the opposite.
Just last month, Stuart Dunnings was charged with 1 felony and 14 misdemeanors after a year-long investigation revealed he had paid for sex with hundreds of women in 3 different counties.
While we want to provide, comfort and respect and advocacy for the victims, it just strikes home to us that this is still an ongoing fight, and it can strike any corner of our society.
And with a number of cases reported growing, legislators are paying closer attention to this issue. Recently, Governor Snyder signed 1 bill into law, and 3 more are being considered.
Particularly appropriate because all victims of human trafficking, of course, face a dire set of circumstances, but it's particularly excruciating for very young violations.
Good morning. It first came up in the State House in the mid to late 2012.
State Representative Kurt Heiss says when he started doing the research, he had no idea how widespread the problem was.
We were starting to look at that time at some very small human trafficking bills, but I recognized early on that this was much bigger than just a couple bills.
The new set of bills will give victims a chance to wipe their records clean of previous records of commercial sexual activity, drug possession charges, and it also eliminates the idea that minors can consent for sex work and subsequently be charged. Sarah Morley LaCroix says current law does not allow victims to move on.
Currently happening, we have children, minors under the age of 18 that are getting saddled with prostitution charges, and that is carried forward in their adult life.
Representative Laura Cox is sponsoring one of the bills and says LaCroix has a valid argument.
My legislation, HB 5542, aims to alleviate the burden on these victims of human trafficking by giving them a chance to remove these local ordinance convictions.
Jane White, director of the Michigan Human Trafficking Task Force, says that media is an important resource, but often misinterprets what human trafficking is all about.
I'm afraid that the reliability on our mass media, on movies, has been so sensational and so distorted that we're not doing very well on the real picture, on the reality of trafficking.
Oh my God, they got Amanda!
What?
The House of Representatives plans to vote the 3 new bills out next week, and many advocates are hoping to see a large and helpful change for victims' sake. In Lansing, Whitney Burney, Focal Point News.